Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I know you guys might be wondering, what is this car we're looking at? Well, if you pay attention to my community post, you'll notice a couple weeks ago I posted a post of a couple pictures of my car. This is it, it's done now, but I'm going to take you on a pretty full tour of this thing, show you it. But before that, yeah, so I posted a couple pictures of before this thing was ready. So if you want to go back and look at those pictures, you can see what was wrong with it. Basically, this front bumper right here was completely peeling paint for some reason when I got it. And also the rear right door back there, the back door on this side was smashed in by an accident and also was missing the plastic trim piece. Also, it did not have these chrome trim pieces on yet. We added those later on. Another important thing to note is that the bumper had a spot back here that had been hit and was also peeling paint. Because as you can see, the chrome's a little bit deformed here, so that was from that. Anyways, I bought this car from our good friends at the shop where we got that Volkswagen Golf All-Track as well. And they hooked me up pretty good. It was not that expensive of a car. 132,000 miles it has on it, which honestly isn't much because this has the famous Ford 4.6 liter V8 they put in all the Panther platforms. Very reliable engine, 4-speed automatic transmission, also very reliable. So yeah, 132K is not that much. These things can go to like 500 easy. So let me just go ahead and take you on a quick tour of the exterior. Let's just start with the headlights. One thing that drew me to this car on the auction was how clear the headlights were. Most of these cars, they got fogged up headlights because, you know, they're older cars. They're not new. This is a 2007 Lincoln Town Car Signature Limited, if I didn't mention. So one weird thing I want to point out with the headlights is on this side, as you can see, the headlight almost looks brand new. It's completely clear, nothing wrong with it. On this side, it's also very clear, but there is a bit of fogging and there's quite a bit of scratches, which can make it look unclear. Also, I noticed the seal up here is not the best, so I might have to end up replacing this headlight at some point in the future if it gets too foggy. But this one over here is really great. Another thing I absolutely love about this car is the grille. The grille on this car is in phenomenal shape for how old it is. I've watched a ton of Lincoln Town Car videos on YouTube, and a lot of owners have complained about how their grille is like dechroming, because if you didn't know, this is not actual chrome. This is just plastic with a chrome coating. So it can dechrome, like start peeling up here. Sometimes it actually just peels on the actual grille itself. But the thing I love about mine is it is almost perfect. I don't know if it got replaced at some point because it was really bad, but as you can see, no really major dechroming whatsoever, at least that I've noticed. Also, the Lincoln logo on the grille is is in really good shape. I mean, there's not much water inside of it or any of that, so I'm happy about that. The hood ornament, another thing we should talk about on these cars. I love the hood ornament. That's why I picked this car. I like the Panther platform in general. I love the Ford Crown Victoria, Mercury Grand Marquis, Town Cars, Mercury Marauder. All those cars are just awesome old boats. I love them. But the Town Car especially I like because of this. I know it seems like something small, but the hood ornament just really pops it off. I wish, and this is something missing in modern manufacturing, is the hood ornament. Sure, you still have companies like Rolls-Royce that put it on, or Mercedes-Benz with their Maybach and stuff, but it's just not the same anymore, because yes, these were like $50,000 when they were new, but they just don't put hood ornaments on affordable cars anymore. I mean, if you want a hood ornament on a brand new car, you have to buy like a Rolls-Royce or Mercedes-Benz, which are probably like north of $100,000, I would guess, especially for the Rolls. So yeah, it's nice to have a hood ornament on an affordable car. I wish they put them on. It's really a thing of the past that doesn't exist anymore, because even though they do spring down, I think they remove them for safety concerns. If you hit someone, the hood ornament's not going to spear them. Also, I know it's very tiny, especially this one since it has holes through it, but it can't affect aerodynamics because just something sticking up. And as you all know, the car culture of the day is everything has to be sporty. So that's another reason they removed it, because a hood ornament is more for big luxury boats like this and doesn't really look good on sporty cars. Anyways, enough about that. This car, we added these chrome things later. It kind of pops off the look of the car. I like it. Plus, back here, on both of the rear wheel wells, there was a bit of rust that we ground off and fixed. So, I should say they ground off and fixed. So instead of paying all the money to get that repainted, we just went ahead and put these over the repair, so we wouldn't have to do that. I'm sure I mentioned it, but it is a Signature Limited, so you have a couple of the extra bells and whistles. We'll explore the interior in a second. On the exterior, one of the extra things that comes on a higher trim model like the Signature Limited is a sunroof, which this is actually kind of a rare option on these cars. I think the Signature Limited had to be ordered with it. I believe it was standard on the highest trim, like the Designer series, but I think you had to special order it on the Signature Limited. So it's always nice to have the sunroof. I'm not sure if I'll ever open mine because I don't want to unseal the gasket and break it, but it's nice to have because you can open the cover inside and have a little window in the ceiling. It does have a full-length pinstriping on this side, which is kind of a nice touch as well. I need to get rid of this vehicle is not for sale sticker. That's just something they put on it, so people don't think that. Around the back here, not really anything special. You got the one thing I don't really like is that this Lincoln logo back here has quite a bit of water damage in it, honestly. So it's possible I could look for one of these at a junkyard at some point, but it's not too big of a deal, so most likely I won't worry about it. You got the dealership sticker that's still on here for some reason. It is missing the L in Lincoln and the R in Town Car. Don't worry, guys. I do have a box of extra letters upstairs that I ordered online up in my room, so I will be replacing these. Don't worry, I wouldn't drive this car too long without replacing those. That's a must for it to say Lincoln and Town Car, but yeah, so I got a box of letters. I will get on that and get it fixed. There is a small paint chip up here on the trunk, so might do something about that in the future, but it's not a big deal for now. These early 2000s Ford cars were not known for having the best paint, so that's not that surprising. Down here you got a little bit of cracking on the chrome trim piece, like I mentioned, because of the accident it got into. If I really wanted to be picky, I could replace this thing. And who knows, maybe someday when I'm at a junkyard, I'll get a wild urge to do it and I'll just grab one off of a Town Car. But for now, it's just staying put. It's not a really big deal right now. This car is 18 years old after all. It's not going to be perfect. Moving around here. One thing I wanted to point out is all of my rims are pretty corroded because it is an older car. And also these early 2000, these Ford rims they put on the Town Cars, they're known for corroding pretty bad. So yeah, there's that. I'm not really sure if there's anything else to mention on the exterior. I know, so yeah, the rims are pretty bad as far as corrosion goes, but they still look good from a ways away. It's only if you get up close to them that it really starts looking really corroded. So I'm not going to worry about it for now, maybe sometime in the future. On this side, it's important to note, it used to have a full-length pinstripe, but since we replaced this rear door here with a door from another Town Car and then had it repainted to be the correct color, it did not have a pinstripe. So they actually ended up removing the pinstripe along these doors, and it only has a partial pinstripe on the front of the car now. So that was nice because it would have looked really out of place if just that one door didn't have one. Now we'll take a quick look in the hood and the trunk, and then we'll take a look at the interior. One thing I really like about this car is how the hood handle just shoots out. You know, on other cars, how you have to fumble around underneath for the latch to open it. Not on this one, it just pops out of the grill. Almost looks like a little knife that stabbed the grill, honestly. And you just pull up on that, hood raises up automatically on the cylinders, which is also nice. In here you got the famous 4.6 liter V8. This was in literally every single Panther platform car, 91 and newer. Before 91, I know they had the 5.0 liter Windsor V8, but after that they went to this one, and this, man, it was a great motor, really reliable and everything. So mine has As you can see, it's a little bit rusty. That's to be expected. Mine has a brand new serpentine belt, and I believe those are new idler pulleys as well. Don't quote me on any of this. I'm not a mechanic, but yeah, new idler pulleys, new serpentine belt, because I know the old one was pretty badly cracked. I believe there's a new air filter in this, but I'm not going to open it up because I do not want to have to put it back on. Those things are kind of interesting to put back on. It does have a pretty new battery, as you can see the sticker. This battery is from December 2023, and it looks fairly new as well. Always cranks over every time, even in cold weather. As you can see, we're in snow right now. So that's always nice to have a good battery. I did make a video. I am going to make a video on cleaning out this cowl thing. I already did it, but I have a video on that to put up. That's one of the main things to look for. And in the future, I will make a video on the major things you need to look for on these Panther cars when buying one, to make sure that it's, and one of the major things to look for as far as repairs, because at the end of the day, these cars are never going to be brand new again. They are pretty old. The last ones were made in 2011. So if you buy a car like this, it's going to have issues, and it's good to see where those issues are probably going to come from. So I'll make a video on that in the future. Other than that, not a whole lot under the hood. You just got the really reliable engine. Now let's go check out the trunk. Get the keys out. So there's two ways you can open the trunk on this car. As you can see, we got the Ford remote and key. There's a little keyhole right here that you just pop your key in. You can twist it and open it. But since this is a Signature Limited, which is a higher trim model, it actually comes with the power trunk. So if you see the little blue button on here that has kind of a little trunk logo, you just press that twice, the trunk will pop open automatically and the motor will raise it up. So that's actually something for the higher trim vehicles. I believe the Town Car had it on the Signature Limited trim and above. I know the base executive trim and the normal Signature trim did not have a power trunk. Just the Signature Limited and Designer, I believe. But in here, as you can see, you just got the really, really massive trunk. These are just the two floor mats for the rear seats. I got to clean them still and then put them in there. In the trunk, not really much to know. You got the emergency gas fuel release, the air suspension on and off switch, and I believe there's a fuel pump on off switch there too. Mine actually came with the factory trunk organizer. At least I think this is from the factory, which is actually kind of rare because a lot of them did not come with this. So yeah, there's just some junk in there. I'm gonna see what I can use this for to put in there. That'll be kind of interesting. The spare tire, as you know, is stored over here. It's just a little donut, and got the tire changing equipment and all that in there. I'll take a closer look at that at some point in the future just to make sure it's all there. And then there's two ways you can shut the trunk. You can either double click that button again. Hold on, I'll just show you. Double click that button and the trunk will shut automatically for you like it should. And let me show you, you can just stick the key and do that to pop it up manually. Or you can close it yourself manually, and you do not need to slam it. You just have to gently close it down. As you can see, the motor will just suck it down. Which, the interesting thing is, while the Executive and Signature base trims did not have the power trunk as far as the motor to open it and close it, it still did have the motor that sucked it down. So you still have that if you get an Executive or a Signature. I think that's about it on the outside. The only other thing is the fuel door. You can pop the fuel door release, or there's a button in here that pops it. Not really much to note here. When I got my e-check done, I did have a new gas cap put in since the old one wasn't checking out. You just got to make sure you close that so it's not unlatched. All right, let's head into the interior. So in the interior, ignore that dirty towel. I don't have proper rubber floor mats yet, and it's currently winter. But in the interior, got your normal Lincoln Town Car stuff that you'd be used to. Obviously, there's the power pedals down here, which those do work, as you can see. They go back and forth. On the door, you got the Since this is a Signature Limited, it comes with heated seats, which is really nice when you live up here in the winter like I do. It also comes with the memory seats, which is also kind of nice. I have my preference set to 1. Obviously, you got your power seats here. All the automatic windows. I believe this is the mirror defroster. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not totally sure. So let me know in the comments if I'm right. Obviously the power locks and the power mirrors. You got your this cubby hole thing here is, if you ask me, pretty useless. But you got that, which actually I'm going to try not to open this as much because the button is kind of falling apart a little bit on this side. Down here, like I mentioned, this button right here pops open the gas door. This button here actually pops open the trunk, so the trunk will go automatically up and down with the motor with this. If you just have a Signature or Executive base model, it'll just pop the trunk for you. But this keyhole is so you can insert the master key, turn it, and lock that button, so if a valet gets in, the valet key will not open it. Now, I don't have a valet key, but if you did, that would be a nice feature. So you have and another interesting thing is these buttons are actually not labeled. I believe the 1997 to 2002 generation did have labeled buttons, but this one does not. The 2003 to 2011, the final generation, I guess they thought they would cut back costs and not label the buttons. So you got that. Over here, you got the you got the headlight controls. So this car actually did come with automatic light control, even though it's older. It was a newer thing back then. You got the off, of course, the parking lights, and the headlights. This is just the dimmer for the instrument lights, and then if you click it this way, all the interior lights come on. Power pedals, traction control on-off switch. Obviously, you got the stock for high beams on, windshield wipers, turn signal. It's all on the same thing. This instrument cluster here is actually the 2006 to 2011 instrument cluster. So if you didn't know, the exterior look of this car was the same look from 2003 to 2011. That was the final generation look. But from 2003 to 2005, they had this, I don't have a picture of it right now, but I'll just explain it. They had this different kind of instrument cluster that just had a very large speedometer in the center, and then you had temperature and gas and 2 screens up here, but you did not have a tachometer. So when 2006 rolled around, they updated the instrument cluster so where you had a smaller speedometer, smaller tachometer, and then your small gauges in the middle. And you do have a small screen up there as well. I'll light it up later. So that's a little interesting how they did that. Then up here you have this is a 2005 to 2011 steering wheel. Before 2005, they had a different look of steering wheel that was less blocky like this. And the interesting thing is, 2005 was a weird year for these cars because they updated the steering wheel, so you had this more modern steering wheel, but they did not update the gauge cluster till 2006. So you still had the old gauge cluster with the new steering wheel, if that makes sense. It was kind of interesting. Anyways, all the cruise controls are over here. That does work. The resume, for some reason, has not worked for me so far. I'm going to have to see what I can figure out about that, but cruise works as far as set and a minus, decrease, on, off, minus, increase, that stuff. The horn does work, as you can hear. You also have next for the CD, if you had a CD in there, the volume controls and temperature controls, which that's really nice to have temperature controls on the steering wheel. Over here, this car is a front bench seat, so you have a column shifter, which I really like that about it. The overdrive off button is on the end. And since this is a Signature Limited, it's worth mentioning that you get the wood strip along the top of the steering wheel. If it was just a base Executive or a base Signature model, then it would just be this kind of leather material all the way around. So it's nice. It is really nice to have this wood steering wheel. I love the wood. And it's worth noting that obviously all this here is just plastic painted to look like wood, but this actually is real wood. It's the only piece of real wood in the car, so that's interesting. These are just buttons that control the center screen over there. You have the very beautiful clock. I really love this about the car. The clock is one of the best things. Just a basic 2000s Ford radio. I really like it though because it looks stock. It looks like it belongs in here. So I'm not going to be replacing this with a screen or a new sound system. I'm just going to leave this in because it does have a subwoofer in this car as well. So the bass is very good. Then you just have the basic climate controls on here. Not really much to talk about there. Pull-out tray for the cigarette lighter, some ashtrays. It actually makes a good stand since obviously I don't smoke, obviously. So this makes a good stand for a phone, honestly. You can stand your phone up pretty well here. So you don't actually need a phone holder in these cars, which is another nice thing. And then you got a little power outlet under there you can flip up. Not much over here, just the glove box. I just got a flashlight and some papers in there. This car actually did not come with an owner's manual since it came from an auction, so I'm either going to try to find one in a car at a junkyard, or I might just find it online. On the passenger door, not much of note. You got the same little cubby there. This one works perfectly. Window switch, power locks, seat heat controls, and power seats. Not much there. Also, excuse this sunflower seed bag as well. I don't have mats yet. Moving on to the center, this is technically a 6-passenger vehicle, so you can flip this back and seat someone here. I think the seat belt for this is in the back seat currently. But yeah, there's that. But since I don't carry a lot of people around in this, I just keep it down. This actually has a very cool lid. I might get another one in the future from a junkyard because this one's looking a little rough. But you can actually flip it up from both sides. You can do it here, and then you can do it there, so both sides can access it. Not at the same time, of course, but they both can. Only thing I have in here is this Lincoln lettering I got off like an 85 town car at a junkyard, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, I'll have to find stuff to put in there. Really nice center console though. And then down here you have the cup holders that unfold, of course. That's pretty much it for the front seat. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the back seats. And I will do a proper car review for this car in the future. I know I am kind of explaining everything, but I'll do a more proper review in the future. Right now, I do not have my license yet, so you can't really do a proper car review without taking it out on the road and driving it. So I'll do a proper review, show you more like the frame and all that. Explain the features again, maybe when I have a better grasp on them from using them a lot. And we'll do a proper video. Another funny thing about these door handles is they almost look like old refrigerator handles. But anyways, back here in the back seat, there's really not much to mention. I do love the Lincoln plates on the door sills. All 4 doors have those. I'm just going to hop in real quick. So the back seat door panels, there's not much. There's this little pocket here that actually has a little ashtray in it. If you see that little light there, the interesting thing is in the extended wheelbase Executive L and Signature L models, I believe there was a cigarette lighter right here as well. And there was a little light for the ashtray, just so people could smoke in more comfort, I guess. Then you have the obviously the power window switch, and not much else to mention. One thing that's interesting to mention about this car is instead of having the normal, like, you know, you reach into a pocket on the door to close it like most cars do. In fact, the Mercury Grand Marquis and the Ford Crown Victoria had those just little pockets like this you just reach into to close the door. Instead of that, on the town car, you have these pull strap handles, which are actually known to go bad, but it's not too hard of a thing to replace if they do. Not much else to explain. You got the same thing on the other door panel pretty much. You got some rear climate vents for the passenger. That's always nice. Other than that, not much. The only thing I forgot to mention about the front seats is you have this Lincoln Star stitched on all the seats, which I really like that, honestly. It's a really nice feature of this car. Another thing to mention is the back seat is just so comfortable. I mean, all the seats are, but you just look how squishy that is. Yeah, you just sink into it. It's just like a couch back here. I love the back seat. You can tell why limos and chauffeur companies use this car, because it was very luxurious and comfortable. It's hard to get out of it. It's so comfortable. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the back seat. Now we'll just do a quick video starting it up. And I know this video is kind of long, so that'll be it after that. So there's no lights on right now, which is really nice, but I know it's hard to film that screen. Let me see if I can get closer to it. There we go. So basically, let's shut the door so that icon goes away. Basically, you can see 132,628 miles. If you press the setup button, it just does a couple different things there. I'll go in more detail on the actual car review. I'm not too worried about it right now. This just shows how much oil life you have left and all that good stuff. We go over to info, you can just see your trips, how much more till empty, average fuel economy, which I'm just going to reset that because I'm just sitting at home right now. That fuel economy, I guess you have a timer as well. Let's see if you can start it. Interesting. So you can start the timer. You can also reset it, I believe. Interesting. So I guess reset stops it and maybe select doesn't. I don't know, but yeah, you got a timer in here as well. But yeah, so that's just a few things. I'm just going to play around with that. But let's go ahead and do a startup here so you can hear it. I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood while it's running just so you can see it. These cars are really funny, honestly, to me because... see if we can get that up. As you can see, running very smoothly and quietly. These cars are very funny to me because when you start them up, it sounds like a truck because it has a V8 in it, just like a truck would. So it sounds like a truck when you're starting it up. But when you get it running, it's actually very quiet. In fact, with the hood closed, it's even quieter. But in fact, the other day when I actually went to buy this from our friends, it was sitting outside running so it would be warmed up when we were going to drive it to the title shop. And I walked right past the front of this thing and didn't even hear it running. I got inside, and I do have 2 sets of keys for this car, but I got inside and there was only 1 set of keys there. I was like, where's the other one? He's like, it's just running outside. And I was so surprised because I walked right past it and it did not even sound like it was running. So that's how quiet these things are. Granted, they have a good exhaust system, but yeah. Also the seats, it's worth mentioning, my seats are fairly well sunk in. I'm guessing some heavier people rode in here, so that's probably why. Which, I mean, these cars are known for having sunk in seats, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to pull it back in the garage real quick, so we'll do that. As you can see, if you press the overdrive off, it just says OD off. We're just going to go ahead and pull it forward a little bit in the garage. Locks itself. As you can see, that auto light control turns on the headlights once we're in here. But yeah, you can see how everything lights up. It's a green light. Pretty much everything lights up green, even the clock over here, which I love the green light. It's really nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my 2007 Lincoln Town Car Signature Limited. I know this video was a very long video. I didn't mean for it to get so long. I just wanted to explore some of the features of this car with you guys. Like I said, I'll do a proper review in the future where I take it on a road test, but for now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one when I actually make my review, and I'm sure there'll be repair videos on this car anyways. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thanks for watching.